Ladies and gentlemen, this is internet personality Vangelus, and to jump into the triple-digit reviews with 101, I thought I'd kick off with something to match the size and power of the Dragonzord. I thought I'd go into one of the fearsome Decepticon city robots! But I'm still waiting for a radar dish to show up, because I don't want to present him without it. So I decided to move on to the slightly smaller Decepticon city robot! Then I realized I don't own him. But something happened to save the day, or at least make things a little bit less embarrassing. Because I also just got a hold of the other Trypticon, Transformers device label Dinosaurer. This last-minute save came in courtesy of HLJ, and has also been the topic of much scrutiny given the fact that device label, or really any label Transformers, tend to cost a lot of money. So let's at least have a look at what you do get for that cost. A walking battle station of fear, he is not. However, he is a fairly umphy and somewhat comfortable to hold little optical mouse. This is a functioning optical mouse, which is the crux of the device label line, is that they're functioning little devices. The one thing that I would cite, aside from, the fact that if you hold this wrong, you might start transforming it, the one thing I'd cite is my only huge problem with this would be that there's a paint app on here, and you also rest your hand on there. And I can see this kind of just flaking off after a pretty short time. I mean, apparently the Grimlock one is coated in shiny silver paint, and that's even more frightening to me. But this one I kind of like because he's also a little bit more discreet. And I just find the Trypticon color scheme to be fairly pleasant to the eye. And it's not super apparent that he transforms, mostly because this has to be a functioning block of Optical Mouse. There is no additional software that comes with this guy. You just get some instructions and a cable. And this is my big one unfortunate thing, is that, like the music label Rumble and Frenzy earphones, you can't really do anything with the cable. It just kind of chills out there. Sigh. But how does it work as a mouse? Well, let's find out. As soon as you plug it in, you do get a nifty blue LED, and I do find those very appealing. It does seem to work. The response is fairly optical. Mouse, if I scroll this thing, I'll scroll the page up and down, and if I maneuver over onto this mysterious short film I've discovered on YouTube, then, hey, it begins to play. So, as a mouse, this does everything it's supposed to. I can't really say that this feels like it's weak at all. As an optical mouse, it feels quite accurate, and it's comfortable. The click wheel also really helps, because having 3 buttons on this thing makes it about as fully featured as a $20 mouse. And when it comes to device label, that is basically a good thing. Oh man, I just can't stop watching this piece of cinema. What's it called? Questionnaire? Anyway. While this has the feature set of any $20 optical mouse, the other $30 that this retailed for would cover transformation. So let's check that out. The bulk of the transformation is pretty simple and pretty obvious, but things do get a little bit tricky with Dinosaurer's arms. You have to collapse the thumb before you rotate them out, or there won't be enough clearance for the rest of the forearm to fold out. Other than that, the legs are a breeze, the head's easy, and there's even a pointless little extension on the USB connection, which, to my knowledge, accomplishes nothing, practically or aesthetically. This is clearly a tiny Trypticon, and I kinda love him. His poseability is not bad. He's able to move his legs all over the place to walk like a dinosaur, and his hands have an individual joint on the thumb, and so he can grip things. You can actually have him hold his own USB cord if you're patient enough to wrap it up. And my favorite part of this is that, totally unnecessarily, aside from being able to look all over the place, he's also got a little jaw so he can talk or say Trypticon smash Autobot Mountain or whatever it was he said back when he crushed Teletran. Now, as a dinosaur robot, I actually really like how this guy turned out. He's reminiscent of those old egg robots, and he is very obviously supposed to be at least some relation to Trypticon, maybe like his son or his, annoying cousin. Problem is, you have all this cord hanging off the back, and I really wish some kind of engineering was done to store this within the dinosaur mode. I understand that it's kind of cool to have him plugged in as a mouse so that you can have him covertly on your desk and just kind of squish him down to use him as a mouse, because all the mouse functionality is all in here, and it still works. The thing is that this really drags down a lot of the fun of the robot mode, because you got all this baggage hanging off over here. And if a third-party company is listening, I would actually kind of like a tail extension that would just be like an opening little pillbox thing to store all this wire in. I think that would work out really well. Or even a retractable thing. Like, I thought this was going to be a retractable cable-type deal, like I've seen on so many other cheapo things at Future Shop these days. Sadly, though, it's not, and it's a big detraction from what's otherwise a fairly solid little dinosaur mode. I mean, he's sized perfectly to fight him some gravity bots. And some toys can even ride him. Hi-oh, cul-de-sac! The only other major weakness is that this guy's joints here are a little bit hard to place, and they don't lock in anywhere. Now, on the upside, they do add an arm joint in doing so, but on the downside, aesthetically, he's a little bit uneven in the torso. Now, is this guy worth it? Here's the thing. He is not worth it to someone who is a hardcore Transformers collector and nothing else. This guy is overpriced. All label toys are overpriced at retail. However, to someone who is not a hardcore Transformers fan, to someone who just kind of remembers Transformers, to someone who works with computers to make money and sort of remembers Transformers and sort of has some disposable income, if they see one of these, they'll probably love it. If you're watching this video and you aren't a super hardcore Transformers fan, but you think this looks cool, you'll probably like this. It's what could be classified as a bit of a hipster item. And that does put some people off. But that also means this is a great gift for a friend. This is a great thing for anyone who's not going to be quite as nerdy discerning as you or I. It is a very functional mouse. It's not like music label Soundwave, where you're getting a complete piece of trash MP3 player. It is also worth noting that Toshiba has apparently been looking into selling these domestically, so keep your eyes open on that end, too. This is definitely an item where one has to look at it from multiple perspectives, that of the hardcore, and that of the dude who remembers that Soundwave was that guy who shot tapes. Anyway, this has been Internet Personality Vangelus. I hope this review was informative to you somehow, and like I said, this dude is really cute. And, man, I think the one thing that would really wig me out is if my mouse just kind of, like, sprang up and bit my finger. I mean, imagine if you're just sitting there clicking away, oh, I'm looking at pornography, and then the thing's all like, you can't look at porno! Hey guys, check out the Gerwalk mode, huh? Because it's Gerwalk mode, never mind.